Imagine a world where one of the most iconic and controversial events of the 20th century never happened. What if President John F. Kennedy had survived the infamous day in Dallas, Texas? Today, we dive into an alternate reality where the course of history took a radically different turn. This question not only sparks our imagination but also opens the door to an analysis of how pivotal moments shape nations and the world at large. Could Kennedy's survival have ushered in a golden age of progress? Or would it have introduced its own set of challenges? Join us as we explore this intriguing scenario. Stay with us as we unravel the events that could have shaped a new era in politics, economics, and global culture. From civil rights to the Cold War, the ripple effects of Kennedy's survival might have redefined the future as we know it. Throughout this video, we'll look at the opportunities, controversies, and unexpected consequences that this alternate timeline might have brought to life. By the end, you may find yourself questioning how much of history is shaped by individuals versus the circumstances they find themselves in. November 22, 1963, marked a pivotal moment in American history. John F. Kennedy, the 35th President of the United States, was assassinated in Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas. This tragedy shocked the world and left an indelible mark on the American psyche. The Zapruder film, capturing the event in harrowing detail, became an enduring symbol of the fragility of life and the chaos of history. Kennedy's charisma and bold vision had inspired millions, and his sudden death created a vacuum of hope and leadership, setting the stage for a tumultuous decade. The Kennedy presidency was characterized by its idealism and bold vision. Kennedy's policies, including the Civil Rights Act and the space race, hinted at a brighter, more united future. His assassination, however, cut these ambitions short, leaving the nation in turmoil. The idea of a Camelot era, as romanticized by Jacqueline Kennedy, became a symbol of what could have been. Had he lived, Kennedy's impact on American and global history might have exceeded even the lofty expectations of his supporters, redefining the trajectory of the 20th century. Lee Harvey Oswald, the accused assassin, was captured shortly after the event. Yet his own murder by Jack Ruby days later deepened the mystery and gave rise to countless conspiracy theories. Could this have been avoided entirely? The unanswered questions surrounding the event fueled public distrust in government institutions, shaping the political landscape for decades. In our alternate reality, Oswald's plot might have been thwarted entirely, sparing the United States this enduring scar and changing the dynamics of governance and public trust. Now, imagine that fateful day unfolding differently. In this alternate reality, the Secret Service is on high alert. A subtle change in their route or a last-minute decision alters history, sparing Kennedy's life. The world's reaction to the failed assassination attempt would be one of relief and renewed hope, with Kennedy emerging as a symbol of resilience. Such an event could have elevated his status to near mythical proportions, strengthening his resolve to push forward with his ambitious agenda, while also making him a more polarizing figure in some circles. The immediate impact of Kennedy's survival would have been a surge of national unity. The attempted assassination would likely galvanize public support, bolstering his presidency. This sense of unity might have provided the momentum needed to pass groundbreaking legislation, particularly in the realm of civil rights. By leveraging the nation's emotional response, Kennedy could have worked more effectively with Congress to overcome resistance from Southern legislators, bringing an end to segregation and laying the foundation for a more inclusive society. Kennedy's survival would allow him to fully realize his ambitious agenda. Civil rights legislation might pass more swiftly, aided by his charisma and political acumen. His ability to connect with the public and his dedication to equality could have reshaped the American social fabric, potentially accelerating progress by a generation. This might have also paved the way for more minority leaders to rise to prominence in politics, business, and culture, creating a ripple effect that extended well beyond the United States. The space race would see accelerated progress. Kennedy's vision of landing a man on the moon before the decade's end would receive unwavering support, further solidifying America's dominance in space exploration. Under his continued leadership, NASA's funding might have increased, leading to advancements not only in space travel, but also in technology, medicine, and communications. By inspiring global collaboration, Kennedy might have turned space exploration into a unifying endeavor, fostering international cooperation and easing Cold War tensions. The Vietnam War presents a critical juncture. Many historians believe Kennedy was skeptical of full-scale U.S. involvement. Would his continued leadership have prevented the costly escalation that followed under Lyndon B. Johnson? In our alternate timeline, Kennedy's nuanced approach might have led to a negotiated settlement or a strategic withdrawal, sparing the nation the political and social upheaval that came with the war. This could have preserved the moral authority of the U.S. on the global stage and redirected resources to domestic priorities. The Cold War's dynamics could also shift. Kennedy's diplomatic approach, showcased during the Cuban Missile Crisis, might pave the way for early détente with the Soviet Union, reducing the threat of nuclear confrontation. His ability to balance strength with negotiation could have set a precedent for peaceful conflict resolution, influencing global geopolitics for decades. This alternate reality might see the easing of tensions in Europe, the Middle East, and Asia, creating opportunities for economic growth and cultural exchange. Domestically, Kennedy's second term could bring transformative social and economic reforms. His administration's focus on education and healthcare might create a more equitable society. Programs like Medicare and Medicaid might have been implemented earlier, benefiting millions of Americans and setting a standard for other nations. By prioritizing scientific research and infrastructure development, Kennedy could have laid the groundwork for a technological revolution, positioning the U.S. as a global leader in innovation. However, not all outcomes might be positive. Kennedy's survival would likely intensify political polarization. His progressive stance on civil rights could provoke stronger backlash from conservative factions. The cultural and ideological divides of the 1960s might have become even more pronounced, leading to social unrest and challenges to his leadership. Balancing the expectations of his supporters and the opposition would require exceptional political skill, testing the limits of his presidency. The cultural landscape of America would also evolve. Kennedy's influence as a youthful, charismatic leader might inspire a golden age of art, music, and innovation, deeply intertwined with his vision of a new frontier. The blending of political idealism with cultural creativity could have created an era reminiscent of the Renaissance, with profound impacts on global culture. Movements in literature, cinema, and technology might bear the mark of Kennedy's enduring legacy, shaping the way future generations perceive leadership and creativity. On a personal note, Kennedy's health and personal life remain points of intrigue. Suffering from Addison's disease and chronic back pain, would he have endured the physical toll of a second term? Advances in medical science might have prolonged his effectiveness, allowing him to serve as a role model for overcoming adversity. However, his extramarital affairs might eventually come to light, potentially tarnishing his legacy. Would these revelations overshadow his accomplishments or reinforce his humanity, adding complexity to his historical image? Moreover, his personal and professional life intertwines with the evolving societal norms of the time. Kennedy's ability to adapt to the counterculture movements of the 1960s, including the fight for women's rights and environmental conservation, would be critical. His engagement with these causes could have set a precedent for future leaders, showing that governance can evolve with the changing values of society while still maintaining a clear vision for progress and unity. By the end of his presidency, Kennedy's vision of a united America might face new challenges. The growing counterculture movement and the generational divide could test his ability to adapt. Despite these challenges, His legacy might include not only a more prosperous and equitable society, but also a blueprint for navigating political and social transformations. His leadership could inspire a new generation of politicians to prioritize empathy, innovation, and resilience. As we ponder this alternate reality, one thing is clear. History is a complex tapestry of events, each one shaping the next. Kennedy's survival might have created new opportunities while introducing unforeseen challenges. This exploration reminds us that the past and present are deeply interconnected, with every decision carrying the weight of untold possibilities. How different might our world be if just one moment in history had played out differently? So, what do you think? Would a world where Kennedy lived be better or worse? Share your thoughts in the comments, and let's discuss how history might have unfolded differently. Your perspective could shed new light on this fascinating what-if scenario, sparking a broader conversation about the power of leadership and the role of individuals in shaping history. If you enjoyed this exploration of alternate history, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications for more fascinating what-if scenarios. Together, let's dive into the infinite possibilities of alternate realities, exploring the paths not taken and the futures that might have been.